Hey, it's Robbie with Celebrate Truth, and we're back again with a video, and you got to check this out. Brand new article just came out. BC man using Saskatchewan's flatness to prove Earth is not flat. All right, we got Highway 33 between Regina and Stockton is extremely straight. Now, this is coming up right before the Flat Earth International Conference Canada. That's right. Flat Earth International Conference Canada will be coming up really soon. And again, they actually have to put it in the article to tell us exactly why the Earth isn't flat. We're going to love this one. Let's read here a little bit. The belief that the Earth is flat still lingers on the fringes of society. Curtis Bott is looking to put that notion to rest. Bott is planning to calculate the circumference of the Earth by cycling to Stockton from Regina along Highway 33, one of the longest straightaway stretches in the world. Dun, dun, dun. Since the world is round, the shadows should be different sizes. And the differences in those sizes will allow us to calculate exactly how big the Earth is, he told CBC Radio's The Morning Edition on Wednesday. Now, he's a science educator from Vancouver. He flew in from the West Coast Tuesday to get ready for the hour-long bike ride. The whole thing is being done for his YouTube channel. That's right, go check him out because Mr. Science Guy is going to prove it through sticks and shadows. That's right, although the Earth was measured more than 2,000 years ago by Eratosthenes. But said it's important to shed some light on science for people today who may doubt it. Oh, there we go. So there's his little trek there. I guess that's him right there, Mr. Science Prover, going to be cruising along here for his little hour bike ride. And he's going to use, that's right, Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes. That is what he's going to use as his measurement because, well, come on. Everyone knows, especially Canadians, Saskatchewan's so flat, but he's going to prove that that's not the case when it comes down to the curvature of the Earth, when it comes to Eratosthenes. That's right, Eratosthenes. Now, I'm not sure what most people think of Eratosthenes. I don't know if you've actually looked into it. Maybe you can make some comments in the chat what you think of Eratosthenes. All I know is it's a very suspicious story when you start looking into it. He popped out of nowhere. He wasn't written in the Alexandria with the library. You've got problems everywhere. What did he do? Go on a cell phone? They went like 900 miles away from each other to measure these sticks. But what's really interesting is Neil deGrasse Tyson even admitted, and I'm going to link to the video in the description so you could check it out for yourselves. But again, this experiment that was done 2,000 years ago was done by two sticks. Okay. Now we have all these different contradictory stories. We've got two sticks. Some people have heard the two wells. They cast the shadow. They could see the light inside the well. Some of them are wells and sticks. Again, we don't have any continuity whatsoever with their story. You would think for this great achievement that Aristophanes did over 2,000 years ago, they'd have a consistent story. They don't even have a consistent story. But explain to me back then how they were able to completely communicate with each other at those distances at the same marker to find out the shadows. But I digress. The point is that if you add a third source in there, again, that is exactly what he was saying because he comes back to it and says, listen, now, yes, that would prove the curvature based on the math. We have the sun being 93 million miles away and all their measurements. But he said if the sun was smaller and closer, it would cast the same shadows. So I want to get the word out on this really quick. I'm actually running out with the family. We're going on a trip. So I'm going to be taking off for a couple of days. But when I saw this, I really wanted to get this out to the community. I want us to really focus on this because again, they're going out, they're doing this. This is so easily debunkable based on two shadows. Give me a break. Now, everyone's going to say, look, see, he proved it. He proved it. The earth is round, just like we said. Based on your nonsense theory of the sun being 93 million miles away, why don't you prove that empirically? Show me the test that we can prove that the sun is 93 million miles away with all your measurements. You can't. So, what happens if the sun is closer and smaller? Explain to me what happens. The same thing. You're going to get the same shadows. So please take a look at this. look into it. Like I said, I'm going to link in the description. It's cbc.ca. If you just type in, I'm sure, and when this goes up, if you just type in man using Saskatchewan's flatness to prove Earth is not flat, you're going to find it. It's going to be everywhere. Everyone's going to be all cheering for this because guess what? He's setting it up right here. The trek comes a month before flat earthers around the globe gather in Edmonton for the Flat Earth International Conference. Now, love how they always add this nonsense in here. Oh, flat earthers around the globe are going to gather at the Flat Earth Conference. You know what? Why don't you actually go out and prove it? Why don't you actually completely prove it through the scientific method? You're so condescending and you got to throw in your little jokes, but why don't you come out? And this is the challenge to anyone, in Canada and even what's Mr. Science Guy here, bike rider. Hey, I hope you see this video as the organizer of the Flat Earth International Conference. I would love to have you come out and I would love you to show your findings. And let's have a debate, Mr. Science Guy, so you can go back as an educator and maybe show that maybe this is not a conclusive test after all. That's kind of where I'm going with this. But again, interesting how it comes out a month right before the conference. They're going to run with this. The media is going to go crazy on it. They're going to say, look, he proved it. Really? Okay, media. CBC, I challenge you as well too. Come on out. Come out with your media. Global news, anybody that sees this video, come out to the Flat Earth International Conference and we will provide our test. Now, if this thing blows up and they're saying this is solid proof, then science should have no problem with any discussion. Science should have no problem with questioning their theories or seeing if there is anything else when it comes to empirical data that we can put into the equation. When it comes to science, again, one theory is not all theories. And again, they have come to a point where they've indoctrinated us so much with the theory of evolution. Oh, it's a theory, but it's true. It's a fact. Oh, interesting. Scientists will even admit that a scientific fact is still not 100% proven true. So, what is it? So, what is a scientific fact if it can't be 100% proven true? And again, any scientist that wants to come forward and say, what exactly can you prove 100% through the scientific method, I would like to know. Because again, through true science, they will say that science is never fully 100% settled. There always are different theories and different ways to be able to look at things and to find out, have you done your experiment? And again, in this experiment, is it going to be perfect? Exactly. How is he going to be measuring this? Let's follow this because I think something is going on that's going to be really interesting because the media is going to just jump all over it, especially that I'm putting on the Flat Earth International Conference in Canada in less than 30 days. And for anyone that's not coming, again, you're far away. It's too close. It's coming up. Check out the live stream. Go to fe2018.com. Go to the tickets. There's live streaming. If you cannot come, would love to have you. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got a big promotion on right now. Save 50% off your tickets if you book your stay with the hotel at the West Edmonton Mall. It's going to be massive. The media is going to come out. It's the first conference, Flat Earth Conference in Canada. Again, we did the one last year in Raleigh, North Carolina. And then later this year, we're going to be doing Flat Earth International Conference USA in Denver this November. So check it out. But again, Rob Skiba is going to be coming out, Patricia Steer, Mark Sargent, Jaron Campanella, Bob Nodell. We got Emmanuel Lakonga, myself, Matt Long. It's going to be a fun time. So sign up for the live stream. Again, we're getting down to what are we at here? We're at 28 days. Wow, it's really counting down. So anyways, check it out. Anyone that's checking this video for the first time, take a look into it, see what's up. If you're curious about this topic, you think it's nonsense, it's crazy, don't worry. I thought the same thing. Many of us have thought the same thing. Wait a minute, it's 2018. How in the world could anyone be so stupid? How could anyone be this crazy to believe the earth is flat? You know what? When you actually start looking into it, you might be surprised what you find out. And if you come to it with an open mind, again, go do your own research. Don't listen to me, don't listen to this video. Go out, test it for yourself and see if you can conclusively prove without, garbage pictures, they give you from NASA that basically admit they're all CGI, they're all composites. Again, this is something that we have to look at. Again, they're coming at us now with ridiculous stuff that happened 2,000 years ago. Now, don't you find it interesting that it's like all throughout this time they keep referencing this Eratosthenes? Why haven't they done this multiple times over? Why haven't they perfected even this experiment? They don't. They wash over it, they move forward, and they say Eratosthenes proved it. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson said no, he actually didn't, because the two pegs with the shadow experiment to prove the curvature of the Earth fails in this sense. Yes, it could prove a spherical Earth, but if the sun is closer and smaller, it also proves the Earth is flat. So, if we don't buy into the scientism nonsense that, stars are 18 billion light years away and all their nonsense they say about evolving from slime, again, this is not true empirical science. This is theory. This is not the truth. Again, scientism, the mainstream scientism community have got to a point where they become the authorities on everything. You dare question them. You don't ever challenge them. Again, it's time and it's coming to an end. We're moving into a period of time right now where the reign of science is coming to an end. They're coming to a point now where they're hitting all sorts of red flags when it comes to quantum, when it comes to dark matter, all these missing holes. It's almost like, oh, when we do all our experiments to prove the movement of the Earth, like Airy's failure, all these other experiments, and it failed, well, let's come up with the theory of relativity. They're moving further and further away from true empirical science. They're getting into nothing but an agenda. It's time to wake up. It's time to actually look into this and see that not everything that the science textbook teaches you is true. If that were the case all throughout history, why does it keep changing constantly? For many, many years, again, it was geocentric. And then all of a sudden, one guy comes along and Copernicus says, no, 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 it's actually, heliocentric. And everyone says, yeah, sounds great. Let's run with that. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you believe the lie that because we are getting so much smarter, we know so much better than those Neanderthals back in the past. Again, another evolutionary lie. Look into the claims of evolution. See how much science is truly there versus theory. Again, just because the consensus says something doesn't necessarily make it true. And there's a lot of great scientists that are starting to come forward, even under the threat of losing their job and all the persecution and all the different, name calling and everything that comes with this topic. And it doesn't matter. Some people will say, oh, we get persecuted because we believe the earth is flat. Okay, forget flat earth for a second. What if you just believe that it's geocentric? That the earth doesn't move, the whole universe spins around the earth. Again, you're going to get the same level of ridicule. Forget the cosmos. Let's just take out the whole cosmos. You believe everything that science believes when it comes to the cosmos, okay? But you don't believe in evolution. You will be treated the same as the biggest idiot. So again, there is no degrees. People will sometimes think that, oh, wait a minute, being a geocentric is more stupid than being an evolutionist. Again, all this stuff is linked together, and that's the whole point. Is we need to look, we need to see the deception for what it is. And again, an article coming out like this, the belief that the earth is still flat lingers on the fringes of society. All right, Kurt is looking to put that notion to rest. Oh, good old Kurt. Kurt's going to be the guy in history that finally did it through riding his bike and doing an Eratosthenes experiment. Are you kidding me? Anyone seriously logically watching this, go look up Eratosthenes. Why don't you go look up what happens exactly if a sun is smaller and closer, the same shadow? This doesn't prove anything. This actually proves our model. It proves our model if the sun is closer and smaller, but you can't sit there and say it discounts flat Earth. Again, journalists, CBC, Global News, come on, do some research rather than putting up your clickbait, retarded nonsense when it comes to people going, oh, there's people think there's this flat. This guy's going to ride a bike and he's going to put sticks in the ground and measure shadows. And look at that. It just took a guy on a bike and he proved it, just like Eratosthenes. It's not the way the world works. Again, if you think that we're just a bunch of idiots, fine. But to discount everyone and say that we're all just morons, come on. It's time to come to an intellectual debate. Stop hiding behind your name calling. Oh, that's just like jumping out at someone and saying, you're a bigot, you're a hater. I mean, how do you come back to that? Let's have a discussion. Let's truly come to the table and discuss these things and find out, are there other theories? Is there other things that might work rather than riding a bike in Saskatchewan in like what, tomorrow he's doing this? He's doing this tomorrow. I mean, this is why I had to jump on this really quick, is because this is happening tomorrow. This article's coming out here. And let's see, on Thursday, measurements of the length of the shadows of both sundials will be taken at the exact same time. But said if the Earth is indeed flat, the shadows should be identical and not all varied. Oh, good on you, Mr. Science Guy. You really researched this well, didn't you? You just jumped and said, I'm going to Saskatchewan. I'm going to ride my bike and I'm going to prove for everyone that the earth is not flat. You didn't even look into it. Do you really believe this? Do you even look into flat earth? We do not believe the sun is 93 million miles away. We do not believe the moon is 240,000 miles away. Give me a break. 240,000 miles? You're going to believe you on the bike are going to believe in the 60s and 70s we went a quarter of a million miles away 6 times to the moon there and back? No problems. And yet it's almost, I think next year is the 50-year anniversary. They haven't even gone there. Okay, they haven't gone there. It was like, oh, well, they've already been there. Sure. Yeah, you mined every ounce of the moon. You discover everything that you're ever going to know about the moon. Give me a break. China, Russia, oh, all these great men that walked on the moon. Hey, women, those feminists that love marching against men and doing all sorts of crazy nonsense? You know what? I got a task for you. Run to NASA, march in front of NASA, and demand the first woman to walk on the moon. Hey, hello, no woman's ever walked on the moon. Don't you find that kind of insulting? Isn't that kind of male chauvinist there, NASA? So, hey, women, you want to march on something, why don't you kind of look at it and see, wait a minute, that's right. How come there's no woman? Get mad, get irate. Start demanding. We want to see the first woman on the moon. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the first man on the moon. Again, instead of a Hollywood production with so many problems with the moon landing, it's not even funny. I mean, if you think, oh, how could anyone not believe in the moon landing? Oh, because there's one thing they bring out. There's like 500. There's so many problems with the moon landing, and I think that's what's pivotal. If you get to questioning the moon landing, maybe you can start comprehending how big this lie goes. Because hypothetically, if they haven't gone to the moon, explain to me how far they've gone. And if they can't get up there that high, then what exactly is going on with everything? Again, getting off track, it's a massive deception. Scientism is nothing but lies. And this just goes to show that the media, without even getting me, the organizer of the Flat Earth International Conference to give my comment. But you know what? Don't worry. I won't give my comment because now I've got ammo to give my comment in my opening address at the conference in front of CBC because I know you're going to be there, CBC, and I know Global News is coming, and I know Edmonton Journal's coming, and I know the media is going to be there. So get ready, get challenged, and hopefully you print it. And I'll call you on it if you don't. But it doesn't really matter because the world's going to find out exactly how bogus this kind of stuff is. Hopefully you step it up to the next level. Hopefully people that see this challenge us, look into it, and see truly is this going to conclusively prove one way or the other. It goes both ways. If the Earth is round, the sun is, 93 million miles away. There we go, right? It's all proven, right? But if the Earth, or sorry, if the sun is smaller and it's closer, guess what? Proves the same thing. So again, I'm going to basically wrap this up. I'm going to get back to the 24/7 live stream. So give it about 2 minutes, and we'll be live again with all the best Christian flat Earth videos on YouTube, featuring so many great people. Check it out, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe. Check out exactly what this is all about because I think you might at least find it fascinating. And if you want to debunk it and you want to really challenge it hardcore, then at least learn exactly what we believe. And we do not believe we're a flying pancake in space. We don't even believe in space. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What did you just say? That's right. We don't believe in space the way that we've been taught. There's the sun, moon, and stars that all exist within the firmament above the earth. Yeah, it's a big firmament. It goes up there a long way. Can they get outside of that? No. And again, it comes down to the Bible, it comes down to empirical science, it comes down to let's just see if we can measure the movement of the earth or the curvature of the earth from earth, not with shadows, not by looking up and detecting different patterns in the stars. Let's see. Come on. And I'll give you the challenge here when it comes down to your next experiment. If you want to be really genuine there, Curtis, is come up with an empirical scientific test that all of us can do from Earth to prove conclusively the Earth's curvature at 8 inches per mile squared, or the experiment to conclusively prove that the Earth moves at the speeds that we're taught. What is it, 1,000 miles an hour at the equator? And we're whipping around the universe. Come on, Let's see it. Let's see it. I'll tell you one thing, Curtis, you will be more famous than some sort of small little article recreating an Aristophanes experiment with your sundials. Give me a break. This is like 101, and the media loves jumping on this. It is sad. It's unfortunate that people will run to these type of things. And hopefully, as people that actually are questioning scientism and looking into the facts and looking into all these things, when people challenge us on this, be educated enough and do it in a polite, respectful way, and don't come off mean or anything, but let's just have that discussion. But be equipped, know exactly the other side of the story, know exactly what we're dealing with, because it is getting crazy out there as far as the intensity, as far as everything is progressing with the media. This is exploding. I mean, I can tell you personally, this is massive on so many different levels. It is exploding the questioning all forms of science, and getting into scientism, Russia and South Korea and like just everywhere. It is not going away. You can laugh at it all you want. You can kind of put articles out like this, not have anybody quoted to basically say what they think about the experiment. But again, I'll do a video. I'll invite you to basically bring it up at the conference, but I definitely will be bringing it up myself, and I'll have a lot to say about Curtis's great experiment here in Saskatchewan, the province of Saskatchewan. I used to live in Saskatchewan. I lived in Tisdale, Saskatchewan. I lived in Regina, Saskatchewan. I lived in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. I've been all over Canada. I've lived in many places. I've been there. I know the jokes about, if your dog runs away, you can see your dog running away for 3 days. That's how flat it is. Understand. But again, you're moving towards sundials, you're moving towards shadows like Aristophanes, and again, it's already been debunked. So, again, start moving forward. Let's start testing it. Let's see exactly what happens here tomorrow, because all the big news is going to be on Curtis and how he proved that the earth is round. And for the record, we believe the earth is round too. We just don't believe it's a ball. Take care, guys. Blessings.